Hello everyone, today we're gonna add some color to my rooftop garden. So I love starting plants from seed. I can grow so many varieties that I can't necessarily find in a garden center. However, typically the plants I start from seed aren't flowering until late June. So it's mostly just green out there until they do start to flower. And with the cooler than average temperatures we've been having so far, who knows when they'll actually start to put on some other color. So that's why I also like to add transplants, so I can get some immediate color in the garden. I'm not just staring at tiny seedlings and feeling very, very impatient, even though I am feeling impatient anyways. But I'm going to add into my garden some of the annuals that Proven Winners sent me. Most of these are gonna go on the back deck, and my color scheme back there is mostly pastel. I think I have a few colors that aren't pastel out there, and pastel pinks, purples, oranges, bluish colors, and maybe yellow. I actually do have some questions for you guys to get your opinion on some things that I'm trying to figure out what to do with in the garden. So these are the annuals that I'm going to add. Some of them are available now, and then some of them are gonna be new for 2026. The first two that I'm gonna go through are both available now, and I think one of them is actually new for 2025, so that's really exciting. But they are the Angel Face Wedgwood series. So this is an Angelonia hybrid. I fell in love with Angelonia last year because I had a cascading variety, I think it was Cascade Pink, and it bloomed beautifully all season long. It always had color, it didn't give me any problems, and I often ignored it, and it still looked great. So that's my favorite type of plant. Now that one was a bright pink. I am not doing bright pink out there this year, so I wanted to get, again, more of the pastel type colors. Also, these have a different growth habit. So the Cascade Angelonias are more like a filler. They will spill over the sides of containers, whereas the Wedgwood Angelonia are a little bit taller and they will grow vertically. So they'd be more like a thriller in a pot. And these are gonna go in my back border. I've actually already planted some to see if I liked how they looked. And in that border, I am more concerned with plants growing straight up because there's gonna be pots in front of it. So anything trailing over will basically be hidden by the pots in the front. These also will get to about 1.5 to 2.5 feet, which is perfect because these are gonna go in the front row in the border. Everything behind it will be at least 3 feet or taller. I will be ignoring spacing requirements, which I think this one says 10 to 14 inches. Definitely not doing that. So I already cut down a little bit on spacing requirements for my seedlings, and these I'm just sticking in between. So we'll see how that goes. So this is Wedgwood Blue, and like a lot of plants, I feel like with the word blue in the name, it looks purple to me, but the flowers are purple and white, just a tiny, tiny bit of yellow in the center. And these are also drought and heat tolerant. Again, one of the lowest maintenance plants I had, so let's get some more low maintenance plants into the garden. So again, this is Angel Face Wedgwood Blue. And then the one that is new in garden centers for 2025 is the Angel Face Wedgwood Pink. So again, same growth habit as the Wedgwood Blue. It's going to go in the borders in the same spots. So basically, same plant, different colors. This one, the flowers are pink and white with a little tiny bit of yellow in the center. So those are the two Angelonia that I'm gonna put up here on the rooftop deck, but I do have, I think, a white and a more vibrant purple one that I'm gonna do something with on the garage deck. What? I don't know yet. The next annuals I'm gonna show you are the new for 2026 annuals. One of them I already showed you in a previous video. This I put into my vertical planter. And this is the Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz. And again, the Supertunia Vistas are the most vigorous of Proven Winners Supertunias. So I'm gonna plant these in a pot, and you're going to think I should add more. But I'm going to try to tell myself from last year that I know these will grow and fill out the pot just perfectly on their own. So I actually tried to pick a shirt that kind of matched these, but then I realized my shirt's much more blue and these have a little bit more pink in them, so I failed on that part. But I'll be adding some of these to the garden. And then I think one of my favorites for the 2026 releases is Lobelia, which it's not like it has giant flowers, but there's something about this, especially for the feeling I want on the rooftop deck, that I feel like is gonna fit perfectly. So I have it's Laguna series, Laguna Royal Lilac, Laguna Royal Pink, and Laguna Royal Azure. And this one is more of a blue colored flower. So I really like when you can find flowers that are more of a true blue because it is a little bit more rare than some of the other colors. Most of the time, like I said, when something's labeled blue, it does look more purple, but this definitely looks more blue. So these plants are full to part sun. The Angelonia back there, that is full sun. And then the Supertunia Vista is also full to part sun, but I try to put them in full sun because they just get so much larger. So the lobelia here is gonna be 8 to 12 inches tall. I'm probably gonna put these in the front row and then some other pots in the front as well. And I'm actually want to hold the colors up together so you can kind of see the difference. So this is the blue and the lilac, which I think those are pretty easy to tell the difference between. The two that looked a little bit closer to me, but then once they're next to each other, really don't, is the lilac and the pink. So the pink, well, I was gonna say the pink is more of a pink color, but it's more of a warmer pink, and then this is more of a bluish lilac color. I'm in love with these. I have grown lobelia before, but I've always grown brightly colored ones. So I'm very excited to see how these pastel ones do. Now, I'm definitely gonna add some to the border. I'm gonna put some in the pots that are gonna go in front. I don't know if I'm gonna fill all the pots today or just some of them, but last year for each individual pot, I planted different flowers in the pot. This year I'm feeling more of one type of flower per pot. In general, I do love this look, but then I had a friend who posted a story on their Instagram of their trip, I think to Italy, and there were stairs just with pots lining them and very similar looking plants in each pot, just of varying colors. And that has kind of inspired what I want to do with these. So these are the plants that I'm going to go stick in the ground. Let's go outside. Hopefully it's not too loud with the construction. And I'm going to show you some of the things I already planted just to make sure I like them and where I've placed some of the plants to see if I actually do want to plant them there. We are out on the back deck and I'm going to show you what I have already planted and what I have in place that I think I'm going to plant. So let's start off with the back border because this was the main area where I desperately needed to add some color. Again, I love starting things from seed, but you can see how small everything from seed still is. I mean, even my cosmos, which grows relatively quickly, is still pretty small for this time of year. So I already put in the Angelonia. I have the Wedgwood pink on the left, I have the Wedgwood blue on the right, and I did that for all of these raised beds. Again, all of these raised beds are planted the exact same, but some of my seedlings have died, so they'll be almost the exact same. And then I did plant in here one lobelia just to see if I like it, and I do. So I'm gonna do the pink lobelia next to the Wedgwood blue Angelonia, and then I'm gonna do the blue lobelia next to the pink Wedgwood Angelonia. And again, repeating that down that bed as well. This in front in the gray pots is kind of what I took inspiration from that Italy photo. So I have a whole pot of just the pink lobelia, a whole pot of the lilac lobelia. I'm going to do another pot of the lilac lobelia, another pot of the pink, and then the blue, I'm going to tuck around my peonies. So my peonies did not bloom this year. I think they might still be growing, but I'm going to put annuals around it because I don't just want to look at a green plant if I can add in some more color. Last year I did plant annuals with my peonies and they did not rot. I was afraid with the amount of water they were getting over the summer for the annuals that the peony bulb might rot, but it didn't. So I think I'm going to do 3 around that peony. I'm going to do 3 around this peony. I do have a third much smaller peony back here, but that's something I have a question for you guys on. So I'm gonna plant everything first and then kind of go through that. And then lastly, I have this border. These containers I got for free from someone off of Facebook, and they were also on the ground last year, and they had the bright pink Angelonia in it. This year I'm doing what I did with different containers where I love having a Supertunia Vista up here, even though I know the budworms are gonna eat it, and at some point it's not gonna be as full of color. But usually when that happens, I'll just trim it and it'll flush back. But I'm gonna do 2 per planter. I could even probably do 1 and it would cover the whole planter, but trust me, I will show an image here from last year when I did 1 pink plant. I think I did 1 Supertunia Vista bubblegum in each of the containers, and it just completely covered them. And then I also have this cement container on the left that I'm trying to figure out if I should put the same thing in there. Should I put something different, maybe a trailing plant to hang down the wall? Let me know your thoughts for that. I'm gonna start with what's gonna go in the raised beds because this soil is already prepped. I did that before I planted my seedlings, whereas these pots have old potting soil in them. So I'm gonna add some compost and granular fertilizer to these. Since these will be the fastest, let's just go ahead and get you planted. like I said, I'm pretty much ignoring spacing requirements by quite a bit, but I'm getting into the habit now of just trying things, and if they don't work, moving them. Because I think in the past I've been too, I'm not afraid, it's not the right word, but maybe like, oh, I didn't want to give up on a plant, or I didn't want to move it even though I didn't really like it there very much. But this year I am fine moving whatever I need. And it looks like I have about 2 inches on either side of what will hopefully be a China Aster. We're going to see how this goes. This right here is where I can't tell if a China Aster is dead or not, because the first leaves are brown, but then there are tiny little new green leaves popping up. So I'm gonna leave that one in there for now and just see if it survives. I seriously love this blue color so much. And then the last 2 are in this raised bed. I'm definitely already happy with this. I just think having that color in there for the next month before any of my seedlings start to flower is going to make me very happy. Now, since these flower boxes are also refreshed, I added old potting soil mixed with perlite, mixed with compost. I'll link that video down below showing you how I reuse my soil every year, but these are ready to go. So I'm also gonna pop these in. I'm doing 2 on each end, a few inches away from the end, so that they'll grow towards each other in the middle, but then also over the sides. The petunia border is done, and I think it perfectly adds to all of the garbage I have sitting on my deck as I figure out where things are going to go. But I think I'm really going to love having the lighter, more pastel color up here. Again, last year, I think I was trying for more lighter colors, but I ended up with mostly very, very bright colors. So this, I think, is going to be a change I'm going to be very happy about. I am still doing Super Tunia Vista bubblegum, though. We will plant that in just a second. I'm going to plant up the peonies next. So I did refresh this soil how I refresh my perennials, where I scratch in some slow release fertilizer and then I top with a layer of compost. So I've already done that once I realized these were still alive in the spring, which is very exciting. Now I'm going to add in 3 of the Royal Azure lobelias, the blue colored ones, around the edges. I did do this last year with impatience maybe, and again, like I said, I thought the watering would rot the peonies, but it didn't. So fingers crossed that they live happily again this season. At some point, as the peony continues to grow, as long as it doesn't die, I will probably not be able to fit annuals in it. Like, I think the peony root ball will fill the pot, but we're not there yet. Now, I am 99% sure this is going to be the spot for the peonies, because behind them, in between the raised beds, I put a grow bag with a dinner plate dahlia to just add to the border, but I want a pot in front that's pretty to hide the grow bag. So I think these 2 are going to stay here. Now I think we have just the other pots of lobelia to plant. I'm doing this gray pot with the pink lobelia next. Now I do have 4 of these pots. So again, 2 are going to be pink, 2 are going to be lilac, and I have been asked where these pots are from. I got them from my mom. They are very old. They are chipped and cracked, but I love them. So I don't know where they were from originally. But in here is old potting soil from last season. So what I'm going to do is just rake my fingers. It's actually not too condensed in there, which is good. So I'm just kind of mixing that around, and then I'm going to add in compost, basically until it reaches the top where I want to fill this completely. I think that's good, so I'm going to sprinkle in some biotone, mix that in as well, and then plant these 3. The spread on these is 8 to 12, so 3 is probably more than enough, but I want it to look a bit fuller already, so that's why I'm going with 3 in each of the pots. All right, that's all the lobelia, the Super Tunia Vista, and the Angelonia planted. I'm gonna get these in an order that I think they might be in, and then I'll show that to you, and I will talk to you about potentially adding in yellow in the mix and see what you think. Here's what I've got so far. I'm going pink lobelia, peony with the blue lobelia, which will hide a dahlia in a grow bag. Well, just the grow bag, not the dahlia. Then I have the purple lobelia. This is a Weigela. I'll get to that in a second. Pink lobelia, peony with blue, lilac lobelia. Those are my garage dahlias, which will not be here. They're just sitting there for now. So I think I like the layout of this. Now in the center is this Weigela. It is a compact Weigela. I think this only gets to like 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide. It does have yellow and green leaves, and it does have fuchsia flowers. However, the flowers are only going to be here for a few weeks. The majority of the season, it's just going to be the foliage. It does have a good amount of yellow, and I don't know, something about this makes me want to add some yellow into this back border. Right now, what's currently planted in the border that's not blooming are pinks, purples, and oranges. I do have a few yellow China asters I could add in if I wanted to. Now here are the other flowers I have that have a little bit of yellow in them. These are lantana. They're the luscious pink berry blend. They are a brighter pink, very similar to the Super Tunia color, with also yellow flowers on them. I don't know if this is too bright though for this garden, so let me know what you think there. And then here I also have, what are these? I got them from Home Depot. Super Tunia Mini Vista Yellow. So I have 4 of those as well. I can grab more, but let me know what you think, where you think I could potentially put these. I will add another pot down there, as well as another pot down there once the dahlias have been moved. So let me know what you think. Should I add yellow? If I should it be these plants? Yes or no? Also, something I just realized that shouldn't bother me, but I think it is going to bother me, but I don't think I'm going to do anything about it, is I have 3 peonies. So the one on the left, the one in the center, and the one on the right. The ones that are growing the best are in 2 different pots. So the left pot and this brown pot in the center are the same. So ideally, this pot here would be moved over there. I don't know. I like balance. Will I replant it? Probably not, but we'll see how much it bothers me. Well, that is going to be everything for this video. I'm already so much happier coming out and actually seeing color in my raised beds. I'm very excited for the Super Tunias to fill in. So let me know what you think about adding yellow. Let me know what you think I should put in the cement planter on the corner, a Super Tunia, something trailing down. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I forgot I wanted to come out to the front and also get some of the Super Tunia Vista bubblegum into the corners of this bed. So well, one, now the bed does have some color in it instead of just the green zinnia seedlings, but also I have had Super Tunia Vista bubblegum in this bed in the same corners ever since I've had the bed. So maybe since 2021. So when the Super Tunia Vista bubblegum is in the corners, I feel like garden season has begun. And what I thought was funny, because some of them say award winner on the tags, this one says 200 plus award winner. So definitely a humble brag there.